Welcome to another episode of the Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast, the show that brings you weekly advice and news at the beginning of every weekend. Introducing first your hosts, Mack, Mark, and Landon. We are back live on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, or however you may be listening. We want to welcome you into the show. It is Saturday, December 8th, and this is episode 36 of the Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Mack, joined as always by my co-hosts, Mark and Landon. Boys, what do you think about the Kelvin Benjamin news?
My first reaction to it is that I think Kelvin Benjamin could be fantasy relevant. I think he has a chance to kind of vulture a touchdown from any fantasy relevant players, whether it's Spencer Ware, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelce, just because they score so much and he's such a big target. It's quite a dynamic now with Tyreek on one side and Kelvin on the other. You can't get much different. But, I mean, I don't know.
If Jalen Samuels can get the running back tight end designation on Yahoo, can Kelvin Benjamin get the wide receiver tight end designation as well?
That's the dream. If he was a tight end, he'd be a top 12 tight end this week.
Like top 5.
Yeah. Marky,
what's been going on with you, buddy?
Yeah.
Guys, can we please not talk about Kelvin Benjamin? The trade has happened for like an hour now. Let's move on.
Well, you had a nap and woke up to an absolute destruction.
Oh, it's probably the nap that caused it, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it's your fault.
The nap that broke the camel's back.
So, boys, we're going to be talking playoff primer stuff, getting people ready for round 1 of fantasy playoffs. Hopefully it's round 1 for you, not last week of the season. If you're playing in any self-respecting league, you're going to be playing playoffs 14, 15, 16. If you're playing 15, 16, 17 championship week, shame on you. Get a better league or talk to your commissioner, because that is a travesty. But we're going to be talking playoff stuff here. Today, we do want to let you know that we are on Instagram, Saturday Morning Snap. We're also on Twitter, Landon _SMS, Mark Draft _SMS, and our main channel is SMS _fantasy. I want to urge those people that are consistent listeners, if you guys could jump over to iTunes and leave us a review, that would be really, really appreciated. If you've been listening for a while, you're not subbed, just click that little subscribe button. We'll get into your pocket every single Saturday.
How's everyone's week going? Is it? I know you're getting in. You're moving tomorrow, Mackenzie. So it's a big deal for you. It's our last chance to record for probably a good week or so.
Yeah, it's this week has been best described as hell on wheels. No matter where I go or what I do, it's just mayhem. So, yeah, it's nice. We got possession of the house today. We got everything settled up at the lawyers, finances, everything good to go. So we can go pick up the keys, get moved in tomorrow, and start unpacking over the weekend. Just means no football for me this weekend. No internet, no cable. It's going to be pretty desolate out there.
You'll be the Green Bay Unpackers.
Marky, what about you? How's your week going?
Well, I was waiting on that one-liner for days. That's about it. That's all I've been doing. No, last week I went to see an NHL game in Minneapolis, and that was deadly. Saw the Leafs win, and it was pretty cool. Lots of us went down for a trip. So, yeah, always nice to take a trip to the United States of America. But yeah, it's snowy up here. It's really, really cold today, like 26 degrees below zero.
Oh,
so
wow.
Yeah, things are getting cold, but it's like really closing in on the holidays. So it's a beautiful time of year. People are so excited about fantasy championships. You can just see it in the kids' faces, you know.
Off topic.
They're excited about fantasy championships.
Off topic here, but did you guys see Matthew's overtime pimmer there?
Oh my.
Toe drag piss missile.
It's just the things that he can do in such a fractional amount of time. It's remarkable.
Holy.
And they're losing 4-1 last time I checked tonight to
4-2 now.
4-2?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So listen, boys, we got a daily question here.
This is Mark's question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Non-football related, as always, just to kick it off, and then we have one or two football related. But Mark put this one in. Who would you pick as a mentor? And it doesn't have to be football related. It can be basically anybody. But who would you, if you had the choice, have to mentor you through your life? Lando, what are you thinking?
So I'm going to go, there's a couple things. If I'm going to go being a big softie, pick my mentor, my old man, right? Great guy, great business mind. I've always looked up to him. But I'm going to go...
That's a safe pick. Safe pick.
I'm going to go off the beaten track. I'm going to go fictional mentor. I would say the best fictional mentor of all time, written by an excellent author. That is Albus Dumbledore.
Wow, you're going Harry Potter?
He challenges you mentally, physically. You're going to learn more things from Albus, the greatest wizard of all time. Whether it's riddles, whether it's life lessons. That's my mentor. I'm right into
That's your guy.
Harry Potter right now. I went and saw the newest Fantastic Beasts, and it got me right in the mode. So I'm going Albus Dumbledore.
Wow.
Man's never told a lie.
I respect the lie. All right, I respect the pick.
Respect the lie.
Or the lie, if it was one.
It's a lie. It's a goddamn lie. Marky, what are you saying? Answer your own question here.
To answer my own question, and I asked the question in the first place in order to be up to the bat here. And my mentor, if you guys have ever seen Training Day, no brainer, Denzel Washington.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Denzel.
And not specifically Denzel in Training Day, but I feel like there's so many Denzels out there from whom I could learn valuable lessons. Denzel is he's that knowledgeable guy. He is he's cool and calm. I don't think there's anything that could really faze him. But at the same time, it's like he can break your heart with a smile, or I think I would just be. Yes, Landon, okay, you've convinced me. I should tip my hat to my father because he is a great man. And while he already is my mentor,
right.
I should also say that Denzel Washington, to have that guy look at me and say, my man, would really shape me into a better person.
And you know what? I got to shout out Kelly, my mother. I know she listens to the podcast. She's just retiring this year at Christmas. So congratulations to her. And she teaches adults for a living, upgrading people without their high school degree to get that diploma, to get that certification, and go on to post-secondary. I always look up to her. I know we all have great parents out there. So just a shout out to Kelly.
Landon, you can't double down. Kelly Monula was my pick.
Yeah.
Triple down. Wayne, then Albus, then Wayne. Kelly.
Right. This is brutal. I get 3 here, and you took mine. My number 1 pick was Kelly.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, picking your parents is obviously a nice play, and they were your mentors, so probably still are.
And we are all fortunate to have those in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I would probably say for me, I think it would be really cliche of me to pick like a sports figure. I mean, obviously you'd love to say a great sports mind like Tiger Woods, someone who's just so like mentally strong would be probably a pretty good mentor, but I think that would only help me in like one aspect of my life. So one probably weakness for me, like I'm really interested in entrepreneurship and just like that work ethic and grinding. And I feel like I have a pretty good work ethic, but like a guy like Gary Vaynerchuk who could just instill that like tireless level of, work ethic and grinding and like not to ever be down on yourself or not to see things from the wrong perspective. Like, I feel like he would always just sort of put you in the right frame of mind to be successful. And I don't know. I look up to him now, and I've read all of his books, and I constantly watch his content. So he'd probably be a guy that I'd be interested in like having as a mentor.
Yeah,
Gary V.
Yeah, that's a good pick, Mac, and it's entrepreneurial, so different, kind of a different way that we went, but still I like it.
That's why we're the trio, because we have different picks, different mentors. We're different men.
Let's jump into some news and notes this week, boys. We've got, I think, one that I want to get off my chest here. Green Bay has fired their head coach, Mike McCarthy, after the loss to Arizona. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. I had said to you guys that I thought McCarthy would be gone after the season for sure, but, time was ticking for him. And I think it's a good move for Green Bay. I think things had to change. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
It's he was a great coach at the start of his career in Green Bay, and it just sort of dwindled recently. And while we did see some upswing from that team this year, it's definitely been on a decline recently. So I tip my hat to the guy because he's had some amazing years there and coached some crazy good players. But now is just he's going to go somewhere and land on his feet and will be just as effective and possibly refreshed in another outfit.
It's just like you have one of the best quarterbacks in the modern era, outside of Tom Brady with Aaron Rodgers, and you only have one title to show for it. Packers fans expected more. Even football fans expected more from Green Bay. They had their chances, but, I just look over the last couple of years. McCarthy was probably saved 2 years ago when Rodgers ran the table. They won the last 6 games, and they made it to the playoffs. Last year, he got a pass because Rodgers broke his collarbone after they started 4-1. And so he got a pass on that. But this year, it's just, time, the time is time. So I think good move, time to move on.
It's for me, it's a mix of, poor play calling. We've talked about it before. Just, it's kind of stuck in the past. Mm-hmm. But honestly, Aaron Rodgers hasn't performed outstandingly either. And it's a combination of the two of them. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks in the league, in the world. But I have to say one of now, because this year he hasn't shown too much. He's still a top 12 quarterback, but he should be number 1, and it's just, you can relate it to the weapons he has, the play calling, but I saw him miss some passes that he just hasn't missed in recent memory. Last week.
It's been sloppy for sure, but I think now with McCarthy out of the picture, there's a little bit more pressure on Rodgers to be the elite version of himself, because if Rodgers has a crap game this week, again, it's going to fall all on him, right?
Yep, so. Exactly. So we'll talk about Aaron Rodgers later. I love him this week. He's my start of the week. He's a play in DFS. It's all kinds of stuff for me. So
I'm putting my chips
on Raji. I know. Well, some people might think that. Some people might not. Yeah. So we'll get into some more news and notes. Lots of stuff has happened. I'm sure everyone is informed, but if you're not, this is what we're here for. Emmanuel Sanders has a torn Achilles. He's out for the season and could be next season too.
When I saw this news, I chuckled to myself because I'm like, oh my God, Landon's going to start Courtland Sutton as his start of the week.
I think this is all part of the ploy is to get Courtland Sutton just at the absolute top of the ladder. And while he had already surpassed Emmanuel Sanders, now it is like more solid than stone.
It's Phillip Lindsay and Courtland Sutton, and that is it.
Yeah. Deshaun Hamilton maybe should be added in deeper leagues or in dynasty leagues just because there's literally no one else. He's not going to be too fantasy relevant. Sutton should get an uptick in receptions and targets.
Right.
Though.
I think the main feature on that offense is no longer a wide receiver,
Correct.
but
Philip Lindsay is a receiver as well. He tends to do quite well in the passing game.
Touche.
Yeah. Lots of minor stuff. Evan Ingram's back to practice. So is Michael Thomas, Josh Adams, Tom Brady, and Gronkowski. Melvin Gordon still sidelined. I don't expect him to play. Sammy Watkins is limited, but we did talk about Kelvin Benjamin being on the team now.
I think the Benjamin signing is evidence that Sammy's not as healthy as they might like.
It could very well could be.
I maybe see that as you're not going to have Sammy at 100% for a playoff push. That's maybe what the Chiefs are thinking as a possibility. So I think, you bring in Benjamin, and Connolly was the next guy to step up, but we haven't really seen him take that leap yet. But I just think, why else would you sign Kelvin Benjamin? He's not that good. He's just a big body to throw at.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about Julio? You got some news on Julio?
He hasn't practiced, but he says he's going to be back and ready to go to play against the Packers. So, not really sure what to make of that. He's been struggling with injury, but he's played all season long pretty much. So
I think Julio's safe.
It's just par for the course for Julio.
Yeah, Julio's safe. Don't read too much into that red Q.
Still leading the league. Has he been overtaken at any point as the league leading receiver in yards? I'm sure he's still the leader.
No, he's still leading.
That position has pretty much been his all season.
Yeah.
Pretty well, and he's gotten a few touchdowns in recent weeks, so that's helped his fantasy stock a little bit.
He'll still finish under 5 probably.
Yeah, you're probably right. The Falcons' offense has looked quite stagnant lately, and it's just not. It started off pretty hot, minus that first week against Philly, and since then it's been awesome. You could start Matt Ryan every week. Julio's been awesome. I mean, Austin Hooper, he saved himself last week with a touchdown. He finished as like a top 3 look. Ridley's been great, but lately it hasn't been up to snuff. I'm gonna look into Julio right now. You want to start with our QB streamers of the week?
Yeah. So streamers of the week. I know some of you probably going into the playoffs feel like, should I continue streaming? Is streaming volatile in playoff situations? I mean, yes, but if you've been streaming quarterbacks all season, then you might have to continue doing so. So we're going to talk about a couple guys at the quarterback position, the tight end position, and the defensive position that you could stream this week and probably get some pretty good numbers out of, maybe even a QB1, high-end QB2 performance. But I will say that if you have been streaming and you've picked guys up, there was tons of opportunity this year to get a quarterback of starting caliber week in, week out on the waiver wire. Jameis Winston is a prime example. So, it would be nice to hang on to some of those streamers, but just in case you didn't, there's a couple guys that you can probably go out and pick up. My guy that I'm going to say, Lamar Jackson for the Baltimore Ravens. His time is limited, so he might be on your waiver wire, but I've played him the last 2 weeks and had great success with him. He gives you such a high floor with his legs. After that 117-yard rushing game, which is crazy for a quarterback, 26 rushing attempts. He just brings that floor up, and I think if Baltimore can do anything in the passing game, he gives you an ultra safety, ultra safe start, and the ceiling is high. You just need him to have the right game script, and things could be really good for Lamar Jackson.
Marky,
Lamar Jackson. Well, it's hard to believe that his time is limited given his success with that offense, but
you just never know if Flacco's going to be coming back,
I guess,
right? They're going to lean to Flacco, I think.
He's 100%. Well, we've spoken on it before. They both just play such different games. It's really hard to say what it's going to come down to, but at this point, I probably would keep going with Lamar.
I would too, but we've seen coaches in the National Football League do irrational things in the past. So I wouldn't be surprised if Joe comes back and takes his job back,
Yeah. QB stream of the week for this week. Well, we've got like basically the Balboa versus Drago for QB streamers with Case Keenum and Nick Mullins, both of which are easily going to be on a waiver wire. And it's not that I like either one of them, but I just think as far as streamer QBs, there's not a ton, especially not a ton that you guys aren't already going to mention. So I think while Keenum has the potential to, he has like a really good target in Cortland Sutton. I think the feature of that offense on Sunday is going to be Phillip Lindsay. But on the other side of the ball, to look at someone like Nick Mullins, like he really does have a friend in Dante Pettis, and Pettis has been super good. And the Denver pass defense hasn't been amazing. So I think like there's a good chance that Nick Mullins could trump Case Keenum on this Sunday. But like I said, they're both, I guess, possible streams if you're looking for mediocrity.
For the record, I'm staying away from Mullins. I'm staying away from Mullins. Yeah, I'm actually going one of my defensive streams this week. Actually, a defense I've picked up weeks ago just to play for playoffs is the Denver Broncos. I'm super high on the Denver Broncos this week, and I wouldn't play Mullins if my life depended on it.
Nope.
Yeah, that Denver D's looking awesome lately. Mm-hmm. And just like you predicted, you told people to pick them up weeks ago.
Yeah, I think it was like week 11. You
stashed them for a long time.
Week 11, I think I said, yeah.
You've been holding two defenses for a while, which
I have.
This is what it's for at the playoff time.
Those are just the micro moves that help you get those wins.
Yeah. Yep. So my QB streamer of the week is going against my rule, and my rule is generally never Josh Allen, but he has been outstanding on the ground despite the lack of weapons. They got rid of Kelvin Benjamin, but that doesn't matter. Zay Jones has actually played pretty well. It doesn't matter because he's rushing the ball so good lately. Mm-hmm. He's one of the top rushers the past 3 weeks in the NFL.
Wow.
I think he's number 3. So that alone, he's extremely athletic and he could bomb it. If he could have connected with Charles Clay last week in the end zone, he just underthrew him a little bit.
No, Charles Clay missed that ball, man. You got to make that play.
Yeah, I agree. So both are just, and they play the New York Jets, mm-hmm. and Sam Darnold's supposed to be back, so you can play Buffalo D. Buffalo's a great D this week. I think they're going to get a ton of short fields. That's just more touchdown opportunity for Josh Allen. And yeah, it's not going to be a very high scoring game, but Josh Allen should be running around mm-hmm. like crazy.
Because we haven't talked about, or we probably won't talk about Zay Jones again. If you had to guess, what share of the targets is he getting in Buffalo?
Ooh.
What percentage share of the targets do you think Zay Jones is getting in Buffalo?
I want to say it's high. I want to say it's...
Oh, yeah, probably like 35%.
It's just over 25%.
I would go higher. I would go like... Oh, okay.
But there's only a few guys in the league that command that type of target share. So, right. It is what it is. It's not like the volume is crazy high, but he is getting... a lion's share of the targets in Buffalo, but there's just not that many targets to go around, right?
He's the best player on that team.
Well, now.
I guess that stands for something.
That and Shady's like in a walker soon. Let's go to the garbage tight end plays of the week. And my pick only applies to one platform, but if you play on Yahoo, Jalen Samuels will maintain his tight end status for the rest of the season. Yahoo said that they started the year with Jalen Samuels at a running back tight end, and they feel like it's only fair to keep that designation. So Jalen Samuels is a running back that you can play in your tight end spot. It's like cheating. So
that is cheating. Yeah. He's like the number 3 tight end Like, I would only start
Ertz,
Kelsey and
correct.
Ertz.
Yeah. Yeah,
He's going to score more than Gronk this week. It's not even
I
fair.
feel, with James Conner missing the game, I think you have to play Samuels over Gronk, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
You are cheating the system with that pick,
Well,
Mac, but
you two didn't, so someone had to do it.
yeah, all right. Marky, who's your garbage tight end play of the week?
Garbage tight ends. We're not talking good tight ends here, people.
No.
Hot flaming trash.
We're looking for people, especially. So this guy, he was pretty electric to look out for last year, but this year has slumped down to the garbage section. And who else but Rudolph the Red-Faced Viking?
And you had to sing
Used
it too,
to get
Mark?
a lot of targets.
And we've said it. We thought he was going to get a ton of targets with Cousins at the helm, but he just hasn't. And I don't mind that pick though, Marky. It's not a great matchup in Seattle, but it's
actually an interesting game. Both those teams have very similar records, with the Vikes at 6-5-1 and Seattle at 7-5. Mm-hmm. Seattle is on a huge streak right now and are really coming together. And I think they're such a second half team, but I do have a good feeling about Rudolph. I feel like it's going to be a really good game between those two teams.
I've been a red-faced owner of Kyle Rudolph this year, either super embarrassed to have him on my team or just completely pissed off. But that's a great nickname, Marky.
Could you say you're red in the face?
So my garbage tight end play, and I'm just going after matchup here. I'm going to go Vance McDonald. It has one of the higher over-unders at 51.5 this week. Pittsburgh plays Oakland. You play your tight ends against Oakland. That is the rule, and I'm going to stick to it. He has not been a confident start. He's been off and on every waiver wire all season long because he's let you down week in and week out, but he's had these blow-up games. He's that move tight end. Jesse James could get the touchdown, but I think Vance McDonald's going to get the yards and possibly a touchdown this week.
I should make you a little poster. Landon's 12 fantasy commandments.
we should make
got
that.
All these rules.
Yeah.
Let's go defensive streams of the week. Who are you guys looking to pick up off the waiver wire to plug in at the defense?
I want to start mine because I'm going to play them everywhere in DFS I can this week, because I am targeting whomever is at quarterback for Washington, and that's the New York Giants defense. I think they're going to get after the quarterback, and
because Colt McCoy is out, correct?
Colt McCoy got hurt.
Is it the Sanchez?
Mark Sanchez.
Sanchez. Yeah, the Sanchez.
Yeah,
that's gross.
So that's exactly why he's gonna throw interceptions. He's gonna take sacks all the time. It's just gonna be the Redskins are in an absolute mess right now, and it's too bad for that team.
And their run game, hasn't been super solid either. I mean, Adrian Peterson last week had 98 yards rushing, but he had a 90-yard touchdown. So the man didn't break 100 yards with a 90-yard touchdown run. And Chris Thompson wasn't super effective either. So there's just not a lot. There's not a whole lot going for that team right now.
He was open a lot, but Sanchez couldn't connect with them. They were using him late in the game, doing lots of checkdowns and getting yards, chunk yardage. I still think Thompson's good. I don't have confidence in the quarterback. So that's why I'm going Giants. Yeah. And you can get him off the waiver wire.
Oh, they'll be there for sure.
Yeah.
Marky, what are you going with here?
I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Chargers defense. I think with their matchup against Cincy, who are just frigid at this point in the season, I would wager to start any LA Charger that I have, including their defense. I don't know what Cincinnati could bring to the table against such a powerhouse, but it is going to be another possible decimation at home in LA.
Yeah, if Melvin Gordon was playing in this game, how many yards does he get from scrimmage? Like rushing and receiving?
Like 250.
210.
Yeah, like it's in the twos for sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He might even still get a few.
Yeah, on the
Injured.
sideline watching. I'm gonna go with the Steelers. Sort of the same logic that Landon went with for his tight end starting Vance McDonald. Oakland is just horrendous, and I have no faith in them offensively. Pittsburgh should be able to do enough in this game where they can cause a couple turnovers or keep the game low scoring for Oakland. But I'm going to say Oakland is going to have a travesty of a game, and I'm going to pick the Steelers up for a quick little plug and play.
Cool. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to go, so my top rookie segment I always love, and I am going back into the well. I got to say it,
you are a rookie whore. This is all for you.
I am the biggest. This is why I put this segment in, because I love the rookies, and I think you guys picked some great ones. But Courtland Sutton is going to get all the targets. He is my man. He will always be my man. I'm going to try to trade for him in the offseason from Marky in our Dynasty League, just because I am just infatuated with Mr.
Mark,
Sutton.
you got to get the
he's
world
gonna get.
Here.
He's going to be the guy this week. I'm going to go down. I'll go down with the ship if I'm going to pick Mr. Sutton again.
You might as well.
What about you guys?
The best situation for Courtland Sutton of all time.
If he doesn't, yeah, I know. You're right. What rookie players do you guys like this week?
I'm going to go with Josh Adams. I was a little bit hesitant to call his number, sitting on my fantasy bench last week, but watching that Monday night game, cheering on Zach Ertz. When Ertz wasn't involved, it was just Adams. He commands that backfield. He gets touches, and he's a pretty good runner, man. I like his physicality and the way that he just gets off on the edge. So I have some confidence in Josh Adams to have a good week this week in a divisional game. I think there's a lot. Yeah. I think there's a lot at stake here in that division, and that's who I'm going with.
I like it. That is going to be a fun game.
Bloodbath, man.
Marky, who do you like?
This week, I like. I just spoke about him a minute ago. Dante Pettis. He just last week. The last couple of weeks really, he has managed to find open space and take to the house for long scores.
He looks really good. He looks really good.
He's a great route runner and has great hands too. So while they are going against the Denver defense, the Denver pass defense isn't really what makes them so great. It is just going to have to be a matter of their line stopping the pass rush and giving Nick Mullins any time to look around. Because if he can see Pettis out there, there's a really good shot that he can find another hole and make it happen again.
Dante Pettis reminds me
another one I like this week is Josh Allen too, but we've already spoken on him.
Yeah, true.
Dante Pettis reminds me of a younger Deshaun Jackson. Just that big playability. If he gets into the end zone, I mean, you can get a week's worth of points in one play. But last week, 5 receptions, 129 yards, 2 touchdowns. I believe he was the number 1 fantasy wide receiver on the week. Is that accurate?
Yeah, or Zay Jones maybe.
Zay Jones.
No, they're both up. They were both up there.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. So I like that pick. That's a good one. This is my favorite segment. Guys that should you stash them or trash them? And this is a pretty important part of the season going into the playoffs. These are, there might be guys that bench spot is better served as like a second defense, right? You just never know about matchups or who's going to be available. So a guy like Randall Cobb, who's just returning to a Packers offense that's struggling, is he a stash for you right now, or is he a trash?
That's tough. I think I would actually stash Randall Cobb. If we look for Aaron Rodgers to bounce back like I do, I think he will be a benefactor of that. I would probably stash him, even though he's been a trash all season. What about you, Marky? What would you do with Cobb?
He is a super fast guy. I like Randall Cobb. I would probably stash him too, just because I believe so much in Aaron Rodgers. And I know Randall Cobb as a guy to
Oh, you guys are friends?
He's kind of like he's been a savior in the past. This year, I think the errors are hard to overlook with that offense. But I think if it's going to happen, it's going to happen through guys like him, and he does have some good experience compared to some of the other guys out there on that Green Bay offense.
Would you guys play him this week against Atlanta? That's the question.
Yeah.
Or wait and see, and maybe, but then you got to play him at Chicago in 2 weeks.
This has to be a huge game for all Packers players. Like, it's a great matchup. There's no excuse. They're at home. Like, come on. Matt Ryan on the road has proven to be very bad.
Yeah.
And Lambeau's going to be...
I would start Cobb against Atlanta.
Lambeau's going to be frigid. I'm in the situation in most leagues where I can pick up Randall Cobb, but I also have Marquez Valdes-Scantling on my team. So out of those two guys, who would you rather have long term? I mean, not long term like outside, not years down the road, but I'm talking long term, like as in until the end of the season. Because MVS has disappointed the last couple weeks. I mean, he's virtually disappeared.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Cobb for the playoffs. That's where I would put my chips.
I mean, the chemistry is there. They're proven. And like Mark said, he has that sort of like magical quality. He can just show up and give you big games. But I don't know. I think it's a little risky. It's just a little risky.
Yeah. It's just whether you believe in Green Bay or not. And it might be done for them for the season. It might be a tough pill to swallow. For you guys out there.
Now, Mark, you are either stashing or trashing a whole receiving core.
This is more of a general, like not speaking on one roster, but more so in the grand scheme of things. Like, let's talk all three of us combined. I'm sure there's one or two of their receivers on our team, but I'm talking about the Baltimore receiver core here. Is there any receiver on that team that's worth stashing?
Oh, I mean, Michael Crabtree has shown to have Lamar Jackson likes to target him a little bit, but I find the ball in Baltimore is going more to the tight ends than anybody else. I don't feel good with Willie Snead. John Brown would be my middle of the road option. I probably feel the safest with Crabtree, but
I think John Brown at this point has been Jackson's favorite target, but has still been
mediocre,
utterly mediocre at best. Yeah. So I'm wondering if maybe the promise of a future is worth hanging on to any of these guys for, or if Jackson is going to be leaning more towards the pass and relying less on his ability to carry the ball. For it to be worth it.
I have spot started Michael Crabtree twice this year in a couple leagues and regretted it each time. And I just don't want to play that game anymore. So, yeah, with Lamar Jackson running as much as he does, and I think Gus Edwards will play this week. I know he has a little bit of an ankle injury right now that he's trying to deal with, but I think he should be back. Those are probably the two guys that I would look towards, and maybe like a garbage tight end play, like Andrews or Hayden Hurst. That might be a better play than some of the wide receivers.
Yeah, I would say as long as Jackson's starting, you can't start a wide receiver from Baltimore. If Flacco comes back, I think John Brown is my favorite target. He played really well with Flacco.
Yeah. In the middle of the season, he was, weeks 7, 8, 9 in that stretch. He was waiver wire pickup worthy.
Yeah, deep threat. When Flacco was throwing the ball deep, he was the benefactor of that too. So either way, for our listeners, if you're in the playoffs, some of these guys, it's tough to stash right now. You want to pick up guys to play. Right. And the guys we're talking about aren't necessarily a week-to-week play. They're not going to... Hopefully your team's good enough that you don't have to play any of these stash players and you could just trash the rest. Unless you're in a keeper league, that's what we're saying. MVS, those kind of young guys, then you stash them. And watch them throughout the end of the seasons. See how they work out, and hopefully keep them for next year for a late round pick.
Who's a sneaky play? Maybe somebody that will fly under the radar this week.
A sneaky play.
player. I'm going to run with Chris Herndon, tight end for the New York Jets. I really liked his.
You should have switched it. You should have been that with your garbage play, and then Jalen for your sneaky start.
I thought about it. Jalen was just too tempting at tight end, but Chris Herndon could be a sneaky play. And the silver lining here is that Sam Darnold is back this week for the Jets, and he has shown to really like targeting Chris Herndon. So Herndon's seen an uptick in snaps. He's up to about 70% over the last couple games. And I think if that trend continues, he should see some involvement, especially in the red zone. So Herndon, I think, could be sneaky.
Marky, who you got?
I like the looks of one Chris Godwin of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now that we know Deshaun Jackson is out, I like the looks of Chris Godwin. That offense still just is only able to produce through the air, and he's a great young talent. Actually, he has a really good vertical and pretty solid hands. And I think the quarterbacking in, I mean, I like to say Winston, but who knows? It might be Fitzpatrick. I don't know, but they trust Godwin, and I love the Buccaneers, so I'm gonna hand it to sneaky Chris.
Sneaky Chris.
I like it.
What a nickname.
My guy's going to be Theo Riddick.
Nice.
Carry on. They play Arizona this week. Carry on still out. I'm not a big LeGarrette Blount guy. I think Theo saw an uptick in targets last week, and we know hopefully it's a decently higher scoring game and Theo's involved. And that's my guy. I think he's gonna have a pretty safe game. If you were a carry-on owner and you handcuffed him with Theo, I think he's a good start.
That game is just so gross, though. Like, who wins that game? Like Lions Cardinals.
It's too bad about
a tire fire.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say with that. Matchup.
Moving on.
It's
Forget
pretty
it.
pathetic.
Forget it.
It's unexciting. Theoretically speaking, watch another game.
Without too much explanation, give me a player outside the top consensus to finish as the number one overall fantasy player this week.
I'm going to go with the guy that's disappointed recently, but the matchup's too good.
Dreamy.
That is Mark Ingram.
Dreamy Mark
It's so hard to sit him against Tampa Bay. And I'm not going to sit him if I have him. You got to start Mark Ingram. Stick with it. Hopefully you made it in the playoffs despite his efforts. And he could have 2 touchdowns. And I don't think he's going to reach 100 yards. I would say 85 yards, 2 touchdowns. Potentially could be the number one overall player this week.
I like it. It's the game script is there, man.
Yeah.
Mark?
What about you guys? Who you got? Consensus outside the top 10. Who can finish number one?
Marky?
I love Keenan Allen.
Me too.
Phillip Rivers is amazing. And Mack, thank you so much for bringing confidence of Keenan Allen back into my heart a few weeks back.
I did. I told you he was a second half player, man. And last week was complete evidence of that. Had his best game of the season. How many receptions did he finish with? Was it 14 or 12? I can't remember.
14, I think.
Yeah, 14 receptions, 39 yards. Didn't get into the end zone, I don't think. No, he did. He did.
Beautiful
once.
tip.
He did once, yes. So, I mean, him and Antonio Brown went at it on Monday night, and they did not disappoint for your fantasy teams. So, Keenan Allen, it's a good pick. He might be bordering on top 10, but I'm going to go with...
I think receiving yards, I think he's outside of the 10.
Okay. I'm going to go with a guy that's probably going to put himself in the record books this year as the best tight end in NFL history over the course of one season. Philadelphia's very own Zach Ertz. Just lighting it up. Like, I don't... This guy's amazing. Anytime that, if you watch that game on Monday night, anytime that the Eagles needed a first down, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, it was Zach Ertz over the middle towards the sideline. The guy's just so big-bodied, sure-handed, comes down with the ball every single time. It's auto. It's auto. So, and he didn't even score last week, but he gave you a hell of a performance. So, Zach Ertz, I think if he gets into the end zone, it's almost locked and loaded. He'll be in consideration as the best player on the week.
I like it.
Nice.
He really only looks at his tight end. That's the only... actually, Golden Tate had a pretty good game last week.
He did. But Zach Ertz undeniably is the go-to.
Yeah, I agree. So I don't know if you guys are keeping up to date with this game, but Derrick Henry has 129 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns right now.
Is this the part where I go, are you joking?
This is the part when Mackenzie goes, he's a bum, because we've said it like 25 times on this show.
Okay, so Derrick Henry, I bet you through how many weeks has he had a game? This is week 14. So through 12 games, I bet you Derrick Henry has like 129 yards combined.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Pretty close.
Kidding.
Yeah.
He's probably a couple hundred yards rushing, but this is... If you want to say that Derrick Henry is worth a 3rd round pick because he'll give you one 100-yard rushing game and a couple scores, be my guest. But he's been utter trash for you.
Oh,
I got a notification and he had a 99-yard touchdown run with a giant stiff arm in this game. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an exciting game.
Well, I'm glad I didn't play Deion Lewis.
Let's open up our DraftKings apps and we'll look up some DK.
I like the DK boy.
So, I want to start off with
what was your total last week? Just before we start, because we need to iron out a winner.
Okay, hold on. I'll go back and see. Marky, offhand, do you know what you were at?
No.
Entries.
You got to go into your previous and figure it out. So I had to make a quick. While you guys are looking, I'll mention this. I had to make a swap to my lineup because I had Kareem Hunt in, and I had to take him out and sub him in with somebody that nobody else had. And I ended up taking Gurley and spending down elsewhere. So my lineup was a little bit different than what we did last week, but it wasn't a good week for me. I had 132 points.
Okay.
So I had an ugly day as well.
Let's see. I don't even remember who I had. I think
I ended up putting up 2 donuts with John Brown and Trey Burton. Ended up with 118.
118. Oh, Lando. Oof. Here we go, baby. Here we go.
This might be my first.
This is your best chance because there's no way I'm dropping 131.
Who did I have at quarterback? Do you guys remember? I finished with 148 on the week.
Ooh!
I finally got you, Mack.
Our DFS expert finally got that victory.
But I had guys like Tariq Cohen that week, he blew up, absolutely blew up. So
yeah,
it was a decent lineup. I mean, I had Kirk Cousins at quarterback, wasn't a great pick, but a lot of quarterbacks kind of busted last week, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it looks like why don't we switch up the lineup? I'll go in the middle. Mark can go first and Landon last.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
It's on you, my man, Marky.
Okay.
Did you see that I threw the Jeopardy music at you last week?
I did. Classic. It's my favorite show, actually.
So I'm going to go through. I prepared a couple things My favorite quarterback play this week is Aaron Rodgers. That's just a personal thing for me. He's priced fairly low, and paying up for a guy like Pat Mahomes at $7K is just astronomical. It did technically pay off last week with 4 touchdowns, but he's my guy if I can get him. But
Yeah. I don't
Mark,
blame
you can
that.
start anywhere you want. I'm going to talk about guys this week that I like throughout to give you some time to decide.
Okay. Well, I think I'm ready. I think right off the bat, I'm gonna draft Philip Lindsay at 6,300 as my running back.
Respect.
Yeah, he's a guy. He's a guy you got to start. He's projected pretty good. Mac, where are you starting?
I'm going to kick it off a little bit different this week. I already confessed my love affair for him. He is my fantasy MVP. Zach Ertz at 6,400. I am going to my man at the tight end position.
Wow.
Oof, look at this gunslinger here.
Yeah, we're slinging that cash, baby.
Man, I don't know where to start here. You guys kind of threw me off my game.
Yes.
That's right, we did.
Let's see. You know what? I'm going to start with Alvin Kamara. $8,100, stud running back to get me going.
Wow, money bags here.
Yeah.
Rockefeller over here.
So, and then I'm going to go with the cheap end of things. I'm going to go to defense, and I'm going to stack that. I'm going to go Saints defense against Tampa Bay. Hopefully, Jameis throws up some picks.
Yeah, that's a good play.
Nice.
Mac, or Marky. Mark, who's going?
Mack. It's Mack.
No,
Mac.
it is indeed me. Man, I look to a guy like Joe Mixon, which is very tempting at 6,400.
Yeah.
Sony Michel at 59. Talk briefly about him, Landon. At $5,900, is Sony Michel worth a roster? But you've got Rex Burkhead and James White there. Is it just too crowded for you, or do you think there's some value in Sony?
I do like Sony. Miami gives up so many rushing yards at under 6K. It's him and Mark Ingram who I like under 6K. Chris Thompson could possibly, because DraftKings is a PPR format, I like Thompson to get some passing work, but Josh Adams is another guy at 5,300 that you could look at for pretty cheap. Lamar Miller is still getting disrespected at 5,100, but if you want to, I still do like Sony in that matchup. Your point.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to dig really deep here and grab the value while it still exists. Jalen Samuels, $3,700.
Oh, that is so dirty.
That's going to be chalk.
That is chalk. That is the chalk play of the week.
Nice.
Marky, where are you going? You going with a stud guy like a Hopkins play, a stud wide receiver? Are you still going? You've been typically going cheap. You guys like Traquan Smith. I see you like Vance McDonald as well for tight end, but
you'll notice, Mark, that this week you don't have an extra $1,000 to spend, so you might as well spend all your cash.
You guys know how I play DraftKings. I'm like a Florida retiree, man. I wait until late in the game, and that's when my money comes out.
Florida retiree.
You know what? I'm actually going to keep saving money. I am going to go right off the bat with DJ Moore at 57. He didn't have a great week last week, but I think he can come out and bounce back with his matchup against Cleveland this week.
I like it.
Yeah,
you got a back-to-backer here.
No, I do, don't I?
No, it goes Mark. It goes Mark.
Okay.
Are we doing continuous or snake?
I mean, the snake draft. I'm the last pick, aren't I?
Yeah. No, it goes Mark.
Oh,
me,
sorry. We're in the other.
you,
we're
me,
going
Mark.
the other direction. You're right.
Correct. It's coming back to you.
Okay, Marky. What do you got?
I think I like. Oh God, it's kind of tricky where I go here. I think I'm gonna take Sony Michel at 5,900.
Nice.
You are going to go that way. Okay.
I'm gonna break Landon's heart just a little bit right here and value Cortland Sutton 4,500.
You're going to go Cortland. Okay.
I am.
I'm going to go with one of my sneaky starts. I'm going Theo Riddick.
Nice. It's funny. We always like to go with our streams. It's like we have a tendency of really just putting our money where the mouth is, and sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't. But at least at least you're willing to go down with the ship.
Yep. Then we steal someone else's, and then it doesn't work out.
It's true.
I'm gonna get that. I'm just gonna stack. I'm gonna do a little bit of a risky stack just because Mark Ingram's cheap, $5,700. I got both New Orleans running backs.
Wow, nice.
Nice.
Back to me, yeah?
Yeah, back to you, Mac.
I've gone 2 value picks back to back like I'm in a McDonald's drive-through. I'm gonna spend up Keenan Allen $7,400. Gonna go ham against the Bengals.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Okay, so that doesn't conflict with my next pick, but I am gonna hop on that Chargers wagon and pick up Tyrell Williams for 4,600.
Oh,
Just keep saving that money, eh, Marky?
Oh boy.
We need, you know what we need from Mark right here? Every single time Mark makes a pick, we need the Lil Dicky, I'ma save that money. I'm gonna put it in.
All right, you get 2 picks, Marky. You gonna go big now, or you gonna keep on saving that quiche?
I think I'm gonna go Big Ben at Oakland for 6,800.
You're gonna spend up at the quarterback spot.
Wow.
Right.
I kind of want to spend down. Oh, Lamar Jackson is so tempting. $5,700, but Aaron Rodgers is only 6,000.
Yep.
Did you wait? You didn't take Rodgers, did you?
No,
Landon?
I thought about it. I did not, though.
Oh man, I mean, the game's gotta happen. It's gotta be there.
You would think.
Give me Raji, six G's.
6 G's.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna pay up at the quarterback position too. I'm gonna go Drew Brees and just get all those Saints.
Wow, you are on the Saints wagon here, marching into town.
I am on the Saints wagon. So now I got to go with a wide receiver, and I got to save some money.
Hey, you're gonna go Michael Thomas, Traquan Smith,
Chris Godwin. I'm gonna go Chris Godwin. Same matchup. Kind of get that Tampa Bay New Orleans stack a little bit. I know I've got the Saints defense, but I'm just hoping Winston throws some picks. But I'm gonna go Godwin.
Okay.
Mac, who are you thinking now?
Yeah, I'm just looking at my players here. 5,500 left per player, but I gotta pick my defense, and I'm gonna take the. You took the steal, right, Mark?
Pardon?
Did you take the Steelers? No, you took
No.
Big Ben, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay with the Steelers.
Steelers defense?
Steelers defense, yeah, 3,000.
Yeah, you like them this week.
I do a lot.
Marky, you got a couple picks now. You're gonna go. You don't have a tight end, right?
No, I don't have a tight end. I think just because I like this matchup, I think I'm going to start off by getting the Giants defense at 2,500.
Yeah.
Ooh, there it is.
I like that.
And I think I'm going to go tight end next. And tough call with given what's left, but I do want to, I do want to save that money, guys. Is that weird?
Budget yourself. You don't want to save all the money.
No, this is how I play the game, man. Who do I like here? I think I'm gonna take. Clay versus
Charles
New York
Clay.
for
You are
2,500.
not. You are not.
Holy moly,
2,500.
How far down is he? 2,500. There's no one cheaper than Charles Clay.
I thought the minimum for DraftKings was 3,000. Are you
Saving
serious?
that money.
My gosh. Okay. You're done? That's it?
That's it. Those are my 2 picks.
Yeah.
2,500. My goodness.
What's your average remaining salary, Mark?
Tight ends are garbage. You know I'm going to spend up on the last wide receiver and flex position here.
Yeah,
You
you've got
will.
$14,000 left per player.
Mack, who you got?
I got to spend up just a little bit here and get myself another stud. So DeAndre Hopkins, 7,800.
I love that play. I love that.
Yep.
I am going to go Rob Gronkowski at tight end. I think he's due for a bounce back week. I was hoping Mark wouldn't take him, and I'm happy about that. I'm going big Gronk.
I think you're right.
And then let's see. I've got about 6,000 average left, 6,200 left per player. Let's see here. You know what? Jeez. Who to go with? I'm looking down. I got to save some money around the $4,000 mark. I might go Curtis Samuel against Cleveland. He's been pretty solid lately.
He worked out for you last time.
Yeah. And that leaves me to get a stud with my final pick.
Mm-hmm. I like it. It's a good play. I'm gonna go with Shady, man. $5,000.
You want Shady?
Shady against the Jets. $5,000. I think he
Hopefully
could
it's a
have a
snow
pretty good
game.
game. Hey, Shady runs wild in the snow. He carves
Yeah.
up that powder like no one's business.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to go hard on these last 2 picks. Antonio.
You got a stack. You
Antonio
have to.
Brown.
And you got the Big Ben stack. That's a great choice, Marky.
And then flex, I'm going to end out with my spending the majority of my remaining salary to get tough call right now. I think I'm going to go David Johnson. 6,500.
Okay.
How much money do you have left?
That's 200.
Wow. Round of
pretty
applause
good.
here for Mark.
Well done.
I've got 62.
right.
I got $6,200 left.
Yeah.
Debating between Austin Eckler and Tyler Boyd. I could throw Josh Gordon in the mix as well.
Yep.
I feel like Tyler Boyd could be big this week with no AJ Green.
Yep.
Eckler, I thought, would have a lot bigger impact than he did last week, but we saw Justin Jackson have a pretty commanding share of that workload. So I'm going to pivot away from Eckler. I'm a little bit afraid. And in the same matchup, go Boyd on the other side. He's just got to be the de facto one by default. Should be hyper targeted.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I don't love his quarterback situation, but he's got to get the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got quite a bit of money left. Got 8,500 left. I'm looking between Devontae Adams and Juju. I like both guys. I think I'm going Devontae Adams. I believe in Aaron Rodgers this week, and I love my lineup.
I was trying to get Devontae in mine, but it was the $8,400 price tag was just a little bit too rich for me.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was going to take Eckler on that last pick too, but David Johnson in Arizona facing Detroit defense. I don't know. Let's pray, I guess.
No. For $300 more, you got to go DJ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lando, read back your dynamic team here.
I got Drew Brees at quarterback, Alvin Kamara, Theo Riddick, Devontae Adams, Chris Godwin, Curtis Samuel, Rob Gronkowski, Mark Ingram, and the Saints D.
What's your total?
I have $100 left.
Excellent. Marky, you got $200 left. Read us off your squad.
Ben Roethlisberger, Philip Lindsay, Sony Michel, DJ Moore, Tyrell Williams, Antonio Brown, Charles Clay, David Johnson, Giants defense.
I like that. I really do. I got Aaron Rodgers, LaShawn McCoy, Jalen Samuels, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, Cortland Sutton, Zach Ertz, Tyler Boyd, and Steelers defense. Let's click that submit button. Let's Landon
Cool.
of your
I like it, guys. Well,
of your
I
5,000
think that's all we
entries
have for
this
the
week.
show.
Yeah, that is. I was just gonna say, out of your 5,000 entries this week, Landon, let's keep this one in check this week. No switching, no pivoting.
No pivoting. I won't. Last week was so weird because it just turned out that Kareem Hunt is kicked out of the league, and
He also kicked.
Spencer Ware was
never
just
mind. I won't go there.
Wow. I think that's the way we gotta go out here.
that's the way we got to go out.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This has been
catch on
the
the-
Saturday morning snap.
Oh, take it away. All right.
Have a good weekend, guys. Good luck this weekend, everyone in the playoffs.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Good
All
night,
right, boys.
gents.
See ya. Yep. Bye. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Saturday Morning Snap Fantasy Football Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at SMS_fantasy. Support this independent podcast at patreon.com/SaturdayMorningSnap.